Hey Zoo family, welcome to today's video. Before the school year ends, we wanted to show you what homeschool has looked like for us since the pandemic has forced us to stay home. We had been a public school family for the last year, but like many families, we have had to transition to home-based learning for our children. We used to homeschool years ago, so this is a little familiar to us. Thankfully, the school provided a laptop for each child, so learning is mostly digital. We only use paper when necessary. For instance, some of Timmy's assignments have to be done on paper. When he's done, we scan the document and send it back to his teacher. Some days, having laptops makes things easier, and some days, it makes it more challenging. For instance, like other children their age, typing is new. The system was a little more challenging for Katie because ESOL programs are difficult to transition for home-based learning, but she never gave up and I'm proud of her. Today, Timmy is doing his reading assignments on our iPad because the laptop is acting up. Logan is watching a video as part of his science assignment for today. Homeschooling with an infant in your arms certainly adds an interesting dynamic. On stressful days, she provides sweet little entertainment for us all. She is just so cute. Look at those little feet. Since Caleb is graduating from 5th grade and entering middle school next year, he was supposed to go on a field trip to Disney's Animal Kingdom. So since they can't go, they are taking a virtual field trip together.
I'm done for the day.
He is done for the day. Good job, buddy. As you might imagine, kindergartners have the least amount of work, so there tends to be a trend where Timmy's done first, and then Logan, and then Caleb, and then Katie. Katie just has the most work out of anybody, honestly.
Caleb works ahead, so he gets done first.
And Caleb has worked the system. He has figured out how to work ahead. So again, Timmy's typically done first, then Logan, then Caleb, then Katie last, because Katie has the most work. It just ended up being that way, honestly. Some of the other teachers reduced the amount of work. Caleb learned to work ahead, and that's how she ends up always being last. But it's all right. It's just how it is this year. Next year will be different, and we will tell you how next year will be different.
So here's what Mike was referring to. I thought you were gonna go.
Oh.
Take it away. Take it away.
So here's what I meant. I thought you'd be doing this. This is what we meant. We've been reevaluating what next year
Take it away.
would look. Trying to be funny now. Oh, she's got jokes now. So we've been reevaluating, as we commonly do, because we don't think that you should leave something as important as education to, whatever happens, and every year we reevaluate, look at where our kids are at individually. Yep. And we've been looking at how far they've come, which is really amazing. Each of them have come so far since their time in public school. Melanie beginning her own schooling next year, and me trying to fulfill the end of my PhD program. We were thinking, are we going to be able to manage public school next year? Because quite honestly, one of the things that frustrates us about next year that has been really worrying us is how we would have a life anymore, because of the way our district happens to do the timings for starting of school. They've made it to where families can't have time together anymore.
No, it's so sad.
I love our school district. I get why they made the decision they did, and I'm not going to go into it because most of you don't live in our county and you wouldn't even know what we're talking about. Suffice it to say, with Caleb going into middle school next year, we would have had to spend between 3 to 4.5 hours per day, 5 days a week, in a car, either dropping off or picking up or waiting to pick up or waiting to drop off a child, because their school start times are staggered. Imagine if elementary school started at 8 a.m. and middle school started at 9 a.m., meaning you stagger your drop-off times and your pickup times at the end of the day, meaning you don't get all the kids home from school until almost 5 o'clock in the evening. and then you start cooking dinner,
Right.
and then you eat dinner, and then
Extracurricular activities are like none.
extracurricular activities
do it.
go out the door.
Yep.
Family time goes out the door. By the time the kids do homework and eat dinner, they all go to bed, and we have no more evenings.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like the destruction of family. Education is seriously important, but it doesn't come before family. And what that would have done to our family, like we have watched it happen to other families, is they spend tons of time in cars just sitting and waiting to drop kids off, pick kids up. And for us, it probably would have equated to, like we said, 3 to 4 hours a day.
And kids doing homework in the car,
which means your life is spent in a car.
Yeah.
That is not the singular reason that we've made the decision we've made, but we have made the decision to bring the kids back into the home next year because this whole pandemic has showed us that we can do it electronically. So here's the kicker. We're not going to homeschool, though. Right. And everyone's thinking, what do you mean? It's either public school or homeschool or private school. Well, we are blessed to live in a state that has a great program called Florida Virtual School. It is viewed as basically the 68th county in Florida. They practice the same curriculum.
Yep, not changing curriculum.
Yes, they're doing virtual learning with a real teacher who has real class times online. They have a real class full of real students who are their peers. They get to hang out with those peers, see their peers.
Field trips.
They get to do, they organize field trips. You get access to extracurricular activities. They can do art and music, and they can do
all sorts of stuff.
They can play the sports when they get to those. If Caleb chooses to play an intramural sport, he could play for one of the public schools here in our county. We know students who do that. So it's kind of like, honestly, mixing the better qualities of homeschool with the better qualities of public school. And then we get to have a family life, which we're staring down the barrel of that being robbed from us next year. We don't know how parents who do elementary, middle, and high school do it. And one day that'll be us. That's what's really worrisome. You and I will have to separate and drive opposite directions and spend hours apart all day. Yeah. And I work. How is that supposed to happen? Right. It literally begins to feel like there's no way to keep your kid in public school if you have children who are at different schools, different grade levels. I just don't know how other families do it. But here's the thing, we're a reevaluating family. Maybe things will change in the future, but for right now, Florida Virtual School presents just the best of both worlds. Katie gets to keep her ESOL program. That transitions over.
Timmy gets his speech.
Timmy, yeah, exactly. Tell him about that. That transitions over.
I don't know it.
Okay. It stays the same. As far as I know,
but that's
from what we've been told, it all stays the same. It all transitions over.
I don't know what it looks like, I guess.
I'm just trying not to do all the talking.
That's fine.
We wouldn't have made this decision if not for COVID.
Right.
We wouldn't have made this decision if they weren't home with laptops showing us that they can do it. And by the way, they've been working on laptops in a system that's not meant for this. Florida Virtual School, we've already tested out their systems and kind of like demoed some of their stuff. Oh my goodness.
And actually Mike's worked at FLVS.
I used to, I worked there, so I'm familiar with the culture.
So
And by the way, before we ever talked about making this decision, we asked each of them in private how they thought learning was going, what they wanted to do, and every single one of them said, please homeschool me again. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
And we were surprised most by, who do you think? I have my 2 that I was surprised most by. Katie, definitely. Miss Socialite. She loves the social aspect. And she didn't even blink. She said, I'd rather be homeschooled. Yeah. Homeschool me, please.
Yeah.
And then
she's been taking the longest of anybody because she has much more work than everybody. They haven't actually staggered her work this year since we've been. They should have, but they didn't. And she's been a rock star and had such a great attitude. And
all of her ESOL accommodations didn't make it home because they just don't transition well because we're not ESOL teachers. We're not ESOL certified.
And if you have gaps in your learning, then it's basically up to the parent to get you caught up. Which is...
So it was kind of like it was kind of like homeschooling her anyways.
Yeah.
And even with it being like homeschool and being tough on you, you guys still did it. So it makes me feel optimistic about next year when we're on a better program for virtual learning, because Florida Virtual School is a combination of online systems that are kind of like all of your textbooks are online and they're interactive, they're clickable, you drag and you drop, you learn by touching, you learn by sight, and you learn by sound, all three. Then you have a real teacher, a real classroom, real office hours, a schedule to keep each week. So this will keep them on a structure. It keeps them on the same plan for getting a high school diploma, because this is still an accredited program because it's a 68th county. It's treated just like a county. Again, it's just, there's so much that's good about it. And honestly, it's something we never thought of years ago, but we could see this being a long-term option for the whole family. So we'll see how it goes next year.
And we'll evaluate next year. And, you know, so I can already hear comments. Maybe you're looking through this for the rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
We're not. We understand that there's going to be challenges, but we just feel like this is where the Lord's leading. So who's going to argue with the Lord?
Not me.
Really. Done and dusted.
I'm married to such a systematic woman where I'm like, well, maybe we should talk about that. And she's like, nope.
Nope, God said it, we're done.
Oh, it takes opposites. It sure does, to balance each other. So that's where we're at. We know we'll probably read some comments that are all over the place because honestly, homeschooling does get a lot of negative publicity for many reasons. Perhaps next year we can show you what it looks like, and you can follow along on what some average days look like. A family that does this really well and shows you what that looks like is the Miller family. They're a homeschool family, and they've done a lot of great videos. So we thank you for watching today's video, for getting to see what school has looked like for the kids. We hope you enjoyed getting to see a peer into that. And if you could, just pray for us for next year. We can kind of envision what it will look like, but you know, there'll be bumps in the road and we'll overcome those together as a family like we always do. Next year we will have 6 people in this house in school.
No, that's crazy. No. No.
That's a lot. So
what were we thinking?
So this is kind of a way the whole family flexes together to support mom. And that's something that's really important to all of us. So we hope we can get your support too. We love you, Zoo family. Don't forget to like and comment and share this video, please, to help our channel grow. And if you're not subscribed, we ask that you would please subscribe to our channel. That is a way that you show your support for the people you love on YouTube. We love you. See you soon.